Good morning, everyone. And we're going to do we've got a little hearing here, two bills. We're going to start with HB 1525. Who is here to testify on this? Good morning. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of House Bill 1525. The need for this legislation is due to the terms of the lease for M&T Bank Stadium.
We know who you are, but you might want to identify yourself.
Okay, I'm Michael Friends, the Executive Director of the Maryland Stadium Authority, and the need for this legislation is due to the terms of the lease for M&T Bank Stadium between MSA and the Baltimore Ravens. That lease calls for the creation of two capital reserve funds. One is the Capital Works Fund, and the other is the Emergency Repair Fund. Each of those funds is initially funded $5 million by the Maryland Stadium Authority, and the Capital Works Fund is thereafter funded $1 million a year from the Stadium Authority, and the Emergency Repair Fund is funded $1 million a year from the Baltimore Ravens. And this legislation, it's purely technical. It simply allows us to create those bills to those funds in order to hold and disperse those monies. And thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Corey's not here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Next bill is House Bill 1516. Whoever's coming up. That's that.
Thank you and good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. Josh Greenberg on behalf of the Department of Assessments and Taxation. I think as many of you are aware, due to a technical error, we had about 100,000 of our 2024 reassessment notices sent out after the date of January 31st, 2024. This creates an irrebuttable presumption that the assessed value of the target properties had not changed. If this were allowed to go forward, counties could stand to lose a significant amount in revenues, the state as well. So this bill is a technical corrective bill, allowing the department to have sent out those reassessment notices between January 31st of this year and May 1st of this year. And it would apply to all reassessment notices that apply to the taxable year ending July 1st, 2025. We respectfully request a favorable report.
So you've already sent out those notices.
Correct.
Okay. And so this just acknowledges that that was done, or that that could, those that were sent out during that time period are the legitimate ones.
Yes, and that those that were sent out at that time were allowed to have been sent out at that time.
And the time frame, the normal time frame allowed for an individual to be able to appeal their assessment is how long?
45 days from the date that the reassessment was issued. So anybody who was given a reassessment notice late would have 45 days from that time to file an appeal, which is the same time frame we give anybody.
So when those went out, when exactly?
They went out late February. I don't have an exact date.
Okay, so late February,
Early March.
so all of March. So by mid-April, everyone would have had their 45 days to appeal.
Sure, just because I don't know the exact date, let's say by the end of April, just to
Okay,
give a
fair enough.
comfortable wiggle room, but yeah.
Fair enough. And so, and this in terms of then being able to appeal and then have that change possibly reflected, it would be reflected on the bill that you would receive from your July 1 on July 1. Is that accurate?
Correct. It would, I mean, it would go along the same timeline as any appeal of our 2024 reassessment notices.
So clearly, plenty of time to have gotten that in, plenty of time to have affected when you would have to pay that new assessment.
Correct.
Senator Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And are we, I read the article, but are we just talking about residential? Are we talking about commercial as well, since counties could be commercial as well, or just residential?
I believe it was both. I haven't looked at the specific properties. Overall, it was 100,009 property accounts that were impacted. We don't see any sort of specifically targeted. It's consistent across counties. It's consistent across the kinds of property.
Okay, so Mr. Chair, if I might, so, you know, Senator Bailey and I have a particular concern about some assessment, a particular assessment in Calvert County that I believe your office is in conversations with the liquid nitrogen plant and maybe even the nuclear power plant. But so we'd like to follow up if possible.
Certainly happy to follow up with you after this. That is not a, as far as I understand, a property tax issue. That is our business, our utility valuation unit.
Got you.
So that would not have been impacted
But we
by.
appreciate, you know, we're trying to clear up the confusion as well. So,
Understood.
thank you.
Thank you. Just to clarify, this is just for this year, correct?
Correct.
So this next year goes back to the way it was before.
That's right. We
Thank you.
didn't want to create anything that would create a permanent solution. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Do we need to switch? Okay, we're gonna go right into a voting session. Actually, let me see if I. Nothing runs around here without Shelley Heddleman. That's. All right, everybody, let's get started again. So we have gone through our two bill hearings. And now we are going to go into a voting session. Senator Hellman, you might want to just notice the two bills that we had heard before. We're going to start with concurrences, though. You might want to look at the ones we heard.
My microphone, Kim, please. Any particular order? No. So the first one is Senate Bill 286. This has to do with the homeowners and homestead property tax credit with the application filing extension. The House amended the Senate bill to match the House bill with the 2-year look back for certain properties and the 1-year look back for other properties for the homestead tax credit. There's a technical difference, but after discussions, there's no need to go to conference for that. So I think the idea was to potentially concur on these amendments.
Move to concur. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next.
The next one is Senate Bill 579. This is the one, there was never a House bill that at least came over here. This is about the breakfast and lunch programs, the universal provision. You all had struck that out and instead required a report. The House amendments modified that report, and I believe working with the advocates, they're now good with that language as well.
Move to concur. All those in favor? Opposed?
The last one I have for you is Senate Bill 434. This has to do with the State Library Resource Center. The mandated funding, the per capita amount that was to go to the program over the next, you guys did an increase in that per capita amount for not just 1 year, but a couple years out. The House amended that and just did an increase in the per capita for fiscal 2025. And there is money that was put into the budget for it. So that would cover the cost of that increase.
Okay. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. What else we got?
That's it with the concurrences. These two have some identical.
Okay, let's do them.
Alrighty.
House Bill 1472. This is a exact match cross file to Senate Bill 578, passed unanimously in the Senate. This is the bill that authorizes the governor to include funding for the Professional and Volunteer Firefighter Innovative Cancer Screening Technologies Program, $500,000 target.
All those in favor? Opposed? Okay.
We received House Bill 557, which was the sales tax exemption for aircraft parts out of rules. This is in the
Move
exact.
unfavorable.
This is.
Move favorable. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay.
And we also received House Bill 812, which is the exact cross file of the SMATIC bill.
Favorable. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. All right, then I think all we have left are the two bills we heard today. House Bill 1525.
Okay, House Bill 1525. This is for the Maryland Stadium Authority and the Camden Yards Football Sports Facility.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. 1516.
1516 is the bill that alters the deadline by which SDAT needs to provide assessment notices for 1 year only. The bill then sunsets at the end of the year.
All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, thank you all very much. Yes.
Senate Bill 202. Is my understanding that all we needed to do was to concur. All sides agree.
As things are moving through the House, once they officially become into the Senate possession, we will get notices. So if it's still on second reader or something like that, it's still paperwork issue, we will get the notice if it comes over to us.
Okay, they've indicated that it was over here. It's not here yet.
We would have gotten a message.
I'm sorry.
It's on third reader in the House. So once it passes third reader in the House, then we'll get the message over here at the Secretary of the Senate's office, and then we'll get the message.
Thank you.
Chairman, in the spirit of local courtesy, I know we spoke about the Allegheny County bill, and I know that Senator McKay had withdrawn his bill, but there was a House bill that was moving.
Yeah, that's not in our possession yet.
Okay.
That's, I think, still in rules.
Thank you.
And we have was that the one you just folded, the one that was,
Or which it was just, got you. Thank you. Got you. Thank you.